Previously on, well, lyrically speaking.
A dental clinic getting their teeth taken out.
Did they actually get their teeth out?
No, it's CGI.
Hey, you guys were thinking it, okay?
It's a fine line between really being concerned and
Being overly involved in a way.
yes, exactly. Welcome to the 9th episode of Well, Lyrically Speaking.
Where we dissect songs and discover implied inferences made by artists, singers, and songwriters. We are your hosts,
Dyuti Agarwal.
and Kesar Behal.
This is a continuation episode of Hot Takes.
So today we want to look at one of the most popular men in the pop industry. We are talking about none other than Harry Styles. Okay, it is a bit hypocritical of us to say that we're not going to scrutinize artists and their personal choices, and we're totally aware of that, but we want to discuss Harry Styles' evolving, style. How he has changed over the years, how his style preferences and just in general his aesthetic has changed. But please note that we are doing this as over analytical humans, as we like to call it, and it is from an objective third person perspective to dive into these details that have caused fans to respond to him as an artist or an individual.
If we just go back into the past a little bit and we look at his One Direction days, if you notice his specific style, it was more collared shirts and skinny jeans, and the whole vibe of the band was pretty similar. If it wasn't just collared shirt, it would be like a plain white or black shirt that we'd see them wearing at concerts mostly. It made the whole band seem synchronized. I think that was just something they felt comfortable with because they were in the limelight. Maybe they didn't have the effort or the energy to, get a different outfit for each event.
But I feel like at the time, basics were pretty popular as well. Jeans and a t shirt.
If you fast forward a little bit to when One Direction disbanded and he started his solo career, he kind of shifted into a different vibe with his outfits. Obviously, when he was in the making of HS1, his debut album, if you look at behind the scenes videos, he's still in the essence of like black skin tight jeans. Initially, it was a very 90s approach he had to his style and even music as well. I personally
Yeah.
see a lot of influence of Pink Floyd in his music. His producer did mention that.
Right.
But obviously, his most popular looks were from the Fine Line era, where he shifted into more bubbly colors and something that expressed the identity that he was creating around himself beyond just music.
No, I was just saying, I remember him stating in one of his interviews, like, oh, yes, like, this is definitely a form of expression for me.
For that time, I think he was a pretty, fun and upbeat kind of celebrity who didn't really care a lot about what the media would have to say about him. And I think one of the best examples to like break the barrier is when he was the first solo male artist on the cover of Vogue. What really caught the attention of the public was that he wore a dress. And if you can see like the picture, it's really, really iconic how he took this opportunity to break that stigma.
Right.
I think personally, I found that really cool.
Yeah, it is. And being in the pop industry, first of all, as a male artist says a lot because a lot of people do not accept that and they're just so used to like Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, seeing those female artists represent the industry.
Beyond just his own music style and his own fashion, he did seek to implement it through his own fashion lines and collaborations. Once he had his solo career take off, he started working with his stylist, Harry Lambert. And he
Yeah.
also grew close to Alessandro Michel, who's the former Gucci creative director.
Harry Styles teamed up with Gucci to release a collection called Gucci Ha Ha Ha. I think it's a very playful move from Harry Styles or just them in general. So yeah, like we said, he started wearing more candy colored and tailored suits, so more pop and color. And eventually he transitioned more into the normal guy aesthetic, which is what it's called apparently. And then there was disco. So how you perceive Harry Styles depends on what era you started listening to Harry Styles from. Because I would imagine him as like white shirt and jeans.
Makes sense. This is like a hot take. I think Harry Styles' peak was Fine Line.
Oh, I get that.
especially because of the colorfulness and like how he created that identity for himself with Watermelon Sugar High and
I was thinking about that, yeah.
yeah, but I do feel like people want that version of himself back, and that's something we also will explore in this episode a little bit. People comparing him to his fine line version and now with disco, I think there's that huge gap in his music and his style. It's like you can't say that you didn't see it coming because I think transitioning from fine line to Harry's house was kind of a different genre of music.
Yeah. This shift in more of like tailored suits and just more professional wear in a way.
I guess people like to see that artists are able to brand themselves and they don't understand that it's also kind of restricting them to work within this like area that they've created for themselves. And I think for Harry Styles that was colorful outfits and like being really upbeat.
Yeah, but I feel like it definitely becomes memorable. For example, Leve, the polka dots are pretty popular, and then the bows.
Yeah.
So probably everyone, wears those things to concerts, which is great. Like that's how they're remembered. But at the same time, I feel like Harry Styles definitely took a risk switching up from style to style, like
Yeah.
from time to time, because you've got to establish that identity long enough for people to actually accept and understand it as well. Like if you change up something, you have to make it as popular.
Something else that can be discussed SNL monologue that he did. He began his monologue reminiscing about the last time he hosted SNL, which was in 2019. And he also talked about his most recent tour, which was in 2023, because this was before the Together Together tour started. He said,
Back then, people seemed to pay a lot of attention to the clothes I was wearing, and some people accused me of something called queer baiting. But did it ever occur to you that maybe you don't know everything about me, Dad?
Oh,
and I think that was a really playful way to be serious about this issue because for years and years he's been accused of queer baiting, like he said. And in context of Harry Styles, that was because he used like queer coded aesthetics for marketing and he never explicitly outed himself as part of the LGBTQ community.
yeah.
But it's always like speculated through his lyrics and through his One Direction era.
Yeah, I feel like he always just said like I don't want to be defined as one like solid
Yeah,
definition.
you've reached the end of volume 1 of the ninth episode.
And stay tuned for volume 2.